Once there lived a washerman who owned a donkey and a horse. The washerman used the donkey to carry clothes to the pond and back. He used to ride on the horse on the trip to the pond. One day the washerman put a heavy load of clothes on the donkey's back and took him to the pond to wash them. He took the horse along with him. It was a very hot day, and Donkey felt tired soon. The donkey's back started paining. He asked the horse, "Could you please take half of the load on your back?" The horse replied impolitely, "Why should I carry your load? I will only carry our master." They continued walking, and the day got hotter. The donkey was exhausted. He could not walk on any longer and collapsed on the ground. The washerman immediately removed the load of clothes from the donkey's back. He gave the donkey some water to drink and put the load of clothes on the horse's back. The load was indeed quite heavy. The horse thought, "I should have taken half of the load when the donkey had asked my help." He realized his mistake. Moral of the story? Always be friendly to others and help them. The wind and the sun were arguing who among them is more powerful. To settle their dispute, they agreed on a trial of strength. The sun said, "Let's see who can remove the shepherd boy's cloak from his back the quickest." The wind tried first. He started blowing strong gusts of air. The rabbit clung to the tree, and the sheep held the fence tight. The shepherd boy started shivering and held on to his cloak tighter. The harder the wind blew, the tighter the shepherd boy held on to his cloak. Finally, the wind gave up. It was the sun's turn. The sun started shining brighter and brighter. The shepherd boy felt very hot. He took off his cloak and sat under the shade of a tree. The wind angrily asked, "How did you do that?" The sun smiled and answered, "Gentleness can be more powerful than force." The wind accepted his defeat. Moral of the story? Being gentle can be more powerful than using force. A milkmaid was walking to the market with a pail of milk on her head. As she was walking, she started wondering about what she would do with the money she would get for the milk. She thought, "I will buy hens from the farmer. The hens will lay eggs every morning. Once the eggs have hatched, I will sell the chicks for money. With that money, I will buy a nice dress and wear it to the fair. Men will want to talk to me, and women will be jealous of me. I'll toss my hair like this." As she thought, she tossed her head back. The pail fell on the ground and the milk was spilled. The milkmaid was sad. She went back home and told her mother what had happened. Her mother replied, "My dear, do not count your chickens before they hatch." Moral of the story? You should not count on something before it happens. A poor woodcutter was cutting a tree near a lake. His axe slipped from his hands and fell in the water. He couldn't get his axe back, so he started crying. A water spirit appeared from the lake and asked the woodcutter about his problem. The woodcutter told him about his axe. The spirit went inside the lake and came up with a golden axe.
"Is this your axe?"
he asked. The woodcutter replied, "No, it isn't." He dived again and came out with a silver axe.
"Is this your axe?"
he asked. The woodcutter replied, "No, it is not mine." The water spirit again went inside and came out with the woodcutter's iron axe. The woodcutter was really happy to see his own axe. "Yes, this is my axe," he said. The spirit was very pleased with the woodcutter's honesty. He gave the woodcutter all 3 axes as a reward. The woodcutter returned home and told his neighbors about what had happened. One of them was greedy and wanted the gold and silver axes. The next day, the greedy neighbor went to the same lake and threw his axe in the lake. The water spirit appeared from the lake holding a golden axe. He asked the man whether that axe was his. The woodcutter couldn't control his greed and said,
"Yes, this is my axe."
The spirit knew he was lying. He took the golden axe and vanished inside the water. The greedy man lost his only axe. He had learned his lesson. Moral of the story: honesty is the best policy. A farmer had 4 sons. The 4 sons were hard workers, but always quarreled among themselves. One day, the farmer got really sick. He wanted his sons to share the farm and work together, but knew that his sons would continue to fight. The farmer decided to teach them a lesson. He called his 4 sons. He gave each son a stick and asked them to break it. Each son easily broke the stick. Now the farmer gave each son a bundle of sticks and asked him to break it. Each tried his best but couldn't break the bundle. The farmer said, "Just like these sticks, if you are united, nobody will be able to harm you. But if you quarrel all the time, anyone can easily break you." The sons realized their mistake and started working happily together. Moral of the story: there is strength in unity. A shepherd boy was watching his flock of sheep. He felt really bored, so he thought of amusing himself. He stood up and started shouting, "Wolf! Wolf!" to attract the attention of people in the village. The villagers came running to help him, but they saw no wolf, just the boy laughing at them. The villagers were angry. The boy repeated this again the next day. The people again came, but there was no wolf. They angrily said, "Foolish boy, when there is actually a wolf, no one will believe you." One day, the boy was resting. Suddenly, he saw a wolf approaching the sheep. The boy shouted, "Wolf! Wolf!" But people in the village thought that the boy was lying as usual. Later, when the boy didn't come back, the villagers came looking for him. The boy was weeping. "Why didn't you come? The wolf came and ate my sheep." The villagers comforted him and said, "Let this be a lesson to you. You must never lie. Moral of the story? Nobody believes a liar, even when he is telling the truth. Two friends were walking through a forest. They promised to stay together throughout the way. Suddenly, they heard a sound in the bushes. Something was approaching them. It was a huge bear. Both of them got scared. One of them, thinking of his own safety, climbed a tree. The other friend did not know how to climb a tree. He threw himself on the ground and lay still while holding his breath. He had heard that bears don't prey on dead people. The bear came near the man lying on the ground. He sniffed his ears and slowly walked away. The man on the tree came down. He jokingly asked his friend,
What did the bear whisper in your ears?
The other friend replied,
The bear told me to never trust someone who deserts you in need.
Moral of the story? A friend in need is a friend indeed. There was a peacock who often boasted about his beauty.
I've got the most beautiful tail,
He would say. Once he walked to the banks of a large lake and saw a crane sipping water.
Look, what a colorless bird you are,
Remarked the peacock.
Your wings can never match my glory. But my colorless wings can make me fly,
Replied the crane. He spread his broad wings and flew up towards the sun. The peacock stood where he was in wonder. Moral: usefulness is more important than beauty. Once upon a time, the mice had a meeting to figure out how to deal with their common enemy, the cat. Some said this, and some said that. Many ideas were discussed, but the mice could not find a solution. At last, a young mouse spoke. I have a plan! All we need to do is put a bell around the cat's neck. The bell will ring whenever the cat moves, and we will be able to run away before she comes. All the mice were surprised upon hearing the plan of the young mouse and started celebrating. Then an old mouse rose and said, The plan sounds very good, but tell me one thing. Who will bell the cat? The mice looked at one another in fear. Nobody had an answer. Moral of the story? It is easy to propose impossible remedies. Once, a cat and a fox got into an argument about who was more clever. I know so many tricks to save myself from a predator. How many do you know? Asked the fox. I know just one trick, but that one trick is enough, replied the cat. And then they saw a pack of hounds fast approaching them. The cat quickly climbed up a tree, hiding behind the leaves. This is my trick, called the cat. Now let me see yours. The fox had so many plans to escape, but it could not decide which one to try first. In the end, the hounds caught him.
Moral: one thing done properly is better than many things done poorly.